Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another edition of the DC Capstone Report. It's great to be back with you this week, and this is a big week in Alabama football. It starts practice this Friday. So today on the podcast, we're going to take a look in our first segment at some recent departures on the Alabama team through transfer and what that means for the team and what that means for people that might have to step up and fill those positions. In our second segment, we're going to continue our review of the position by position, and we're going to take a look at the inside linebacking core for this 2019 team. And in our final segment, we're going to take a look at the challenges facing Coach Saban as he begins for fall camp.
The DC Capstone Report is featured each Tuesday morning on Tide 102.9, The Morning Blitz with Martin Houston. You can listen live at Tide1029.com.
Well, this is a week we've all been waiting for. Here in our first segment, we're going to talk a little bit about that week where we get ready for fall camp. Practice starts this Friday, and Fan Day is Saturday. So I encourage all of our podcast listeners, if you get a chance to come to T-Town here at the Capstone, it's a great opportunity for you to come and take a look at our team for the first, see them out in their first practice, our second practice in shorts and helmets, and have a chance to participate in the Fan Day and get to see all your players and get your memorabilia signed and maybe get an opportunity to sign something by Coach Saban. So it's a great day to do that on Saturday. Well, as you go into fall camp and your first practice, you want to see what your team is like. And this afternoon, this first segment, we got to take a look at some things that happened recently that may change the landscape there. We had two players that were late transfers in the transfer portal. Now, let me go over this just a minute to let you know that when I say late, it's late that we're knowing about it. I have a belief that the Alabama football team has known about it for quite some time now, at least this summer, knew what was going to take place, and they're ready, and it's going to affect our team, and we'll go over that in just a minute, but I believe they're always prepared. They know what's going to happen. It's always better that they transfer or prior to the practice beginning than during it. It causes less disruptions, and you kind of know what you have going in to set your practice with. This week, Iyabi Anoma, a five-star prospect at outside linebacker or edge rusher, has all the talent in the world. He's from Baltimore, Maryland. He had decided to enter the transfer portal, and it looks like he'll be transferring to another school. Not sure where that's going to be yet. And also, Kedrick James, the tight end from Texas, decided to transfer to SMU. So he's going to get back in his home state of Texas. I'll break down each one of these and see what it means for the team, and then maybe who it gives the opportunity to step up. First of all, Iyabi Anoma. This is not a great surprise, I don't think, to the Alabama team. He went into the portal last year. He was disgruntled about his playing time. Truth be known, he is a fantastic five-star talent. And I think no one can argue with his talent. But he just has never been able to get accustomed to the process or accustomed to the structure that is Alabama football, and he hasn't been able to fall in line. I think some reports that I've heard coming out of the camp is he's had a little trouble maintaining himself in the right manner. I've heard that he's had a little trouble passing some of the drug tests that have been come along, and I think that ultimately another failure of a drug test is what's led to it, but that's not public knowledge. It's just something that I've heard. So I would say that it's not a surprise to the team. The team was aware of what's going on, and it's just been made known this week that he's going to be transferring. The young man has all the talent in the world, and I hope that he's able to go somewhere. I think it would be great for him to transfer to Maryland, where Coach Loxley is. It's close to home. Coach Loxley is a coach and a man that would be able to mentor this young man. If there's any hope for him to make it at the next level, he has a talent in the world. He just got to get his life straightened out. And I think Coach Loxley is the is the coach to do that. So maybe he transfers to Maryland and Coach Loxley takes him under his wing and helps him. I hope he does. In Alabama, though, it's going to leave a place for somebody to step up at that edge rusher position. You know, we got Anthony Jennings, we got Terrell Lewis. If both of them are healthy coming back, two great edge rushers. We look for Iyabi Anoma to fill in that third edge rusher spot. And with him gone now, it gives a chance for somebody to step up. I think it's a prime opportunity for Jerez Parks, a young man that I've talked about before on the podcast last year. Have an opportunity to come. I think he comes in. Is not had just been able to get on the field, but now he has the opportunity to step up into this place and get some reps. So I look for him to be helpful at that outside linebacker position. Another young man that I think really can benefit from this is Christopher Allen. I think Chris Allen has all the skills to play in that position. Unfortunately, got hurt last year and couldn't contribute. But I think he has an opportunity to really fill this gap left by Yabi Anoma. So look for Chris Allen and Jerez Parks to step up into the gap here and get some more reps and see if they can make it into this rotation here, the outside edge rusher. The other departure was Kendrick James at tight end. Now, tight end is a spot that we are really a little thin at. We got Miller Forrestall coming back now that has some experience. He has coming off of a knee injury and he has some experience. And Major Tennyson, who's had some experience, and he had his trouble in last year with some discipline and also some trouble with some injuries. So I think him coming back is the only two that's got any experience at playing in a game experience. So losing Kendrick James, I don't think it was unheard of that he'd be transferring. He's one of the ones that were sent home from the championship game, the playoffs, for failure of violation of team rules. Not sure what that was, but I've heard rumors that it had to do with failing a drug test as well. So opportunity for this young man to move on to another place there at SMU and start his career over close to home. So I wish him the best as well. It's going to give an opportunity for somebody to step up. So who is going to be that person that's going to step up at the linebacker corps? We got some freshmen coming in, but I want to talk about somebody that's been moved from linebacker over to tight end, and we saw him in spring practice. That's Cameron Latou. If that's maintained throughout fall camp, if you see him at tight end, then watch for Cameron Latou to be somebody that just out of the blue comes in and is able to contribute. He showed some skills he never played the position before on the college level, moved over there at spring camp and really did a good job. So I think that he can really shore up that position there, and he might benefit from the extra reps with the Kendrick James transfer. So that's the first segment talking about the transfers and who can step up. I know just now you're finding out about it. I'm finding out about it this week, but I believe Alabama's prepared, probably known about it for a while. And look for them to have people that I've discussed here to step up and fill those gaps going into this fall camp Friday. Well, in the second segment, we're going to take a look at our preview. We're previewing each position and going through. Last week we took a look at the defensive line. This week we're going to stay on the defensive side of the ball. We're going to try to get all the defensive going, and we're going to take a look now at our inside linebackers. Now this is a position on the team that I really believe is just a really thin position. I think that's a concern for us. We don't have as much. We haven't developed in the past like we had some players to step up and provide a role in past years that kind of grow into a bigger role, and we haven't been able to do that in the last year. So I look for this will be a place for us to be our weakest. But I really think that we've got some young guys that could come in and contribute and really make a go of it. First of all, the leader on the defense, the alpha dog, is going to be Dylan Moses, and he's going to be the captain calling the plays and doing such a good job of that. I look for him to really step up. I've heard that in the off-season workouts he's more vocal. He's going to be a great leader. There's nothing against his skill that he can't do on the field. I mean, he runs side to side. He has great speed. But I heard him speak at media days, and he said he doesn't like to rely on his speed. He likes to rely on his technique to put him in the right position to make the plays, and therefore he doesn't have to use his speed. But when he needs it, he's got his speed. So I look for him to really step up his leadership, be the alpha dog on defense, and be that person to call in the plays, stay on the field all the time, and make a difference in the Alabama middle linebacker position. Beside him, who's going to fill that slot that's left open where Dylan Moses slides over and fills the spot calling the plays? Who's going to take his place where he was last year? And sound judgment would tell you that probably the front runner of that position right now has to be Joshua McMillan. Joshua McMillan is a player who's been in the system for a long time. He's learned. He played as a freshman He played in all games last year. He saw some duty, and he's a redshirt senior who played in 10 games last year, and he recorded 10 tackles as a backup. So, I think he's been in the system a long time, and now is his time to shine. I think because he knows the system, he's going to be your safe choice to put in there if he can match it with his athletic ability. I liken him to kind of like a Reggie Ragland, who was around, played, then finally in his senior season just blossomed into that great middle linebacker where he's now still playing in the NFL with the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think Josh McMillan has a chance to be that person that plays along beside Dylan Moses. Now the question is, who's going to be behind him? Are we going to have some people to come in and give them a spell? You don't want Dylan Moses to stay on as long as he can, but for him to be there in the fourth quarter, where you have someone that can come in and give him some relief when he needs it. Well, I think there's 4 people that I think on the team right now that I know of that I think can fill that gap. I look for Markel Benton. He got in the rotation last year as a redshirt sophomore. I think he comes in this year as a redshirt junior with an opportunity to make a difference. I think Jalen Moody, he has the skill set to come in and play as well. He's a sophomore. And Ali Cahoe, he was a highly touted freshman that transferred in late from UCLA last year. I think he has a chance to get a firm footing under his whole year in the system and learn the process. So I think he has a chance to come in and play at linebacker as well. The one player I think we ought to watch is someone that I watched in spring practice, and that's Shane Lee. He's a freshman, an early enrollee that came in January. He was on campus since January. He played in the spring game and did really a good job. So I think that he may be the one outlier here as someone who has the athletic ability that might crack in and really do a good job playing in that position. So I think it's a weak point for us because it remains to be seen if anybody that has any significant playing time. I think absent Dylan Moses, the experience drops off drastically. And so I think that's why you have to put this as the weakest point on the defense. But Alabama has recruited some great players who I think have some 5-star, 4-star talent here with opportunities to make a difference. And so if they up their game, they come in here and play like they're capable of playing, buy into the process, and if Dylan Moses can lead this core the way I think he can, then I look for the middle linebacker position to be a positive going into the end of the year. Although a weak link now, I think by the end of the year we'll see them making plays and making the progress. I'm looking for the defense this year to really be good. I'm thinking that we could have one of the best defensive teams all around that we've had in quite some time. And I know that people think we may have a drop off with so many people going into the NFL, but I really believe even though this middle linebacker position is weak, it has a potential to be a stronghold in the middle of this defense, to shore up the defense. We'll know more as they hit the field for fall camp and see how people progress starting Friday. Well, in our final segment today, we're going to look at the challenges facing Coach Saban as he enters this 2019 season. Well, first of all, right off the bat, he has to get back in the swing of things with his physical nature. He's coming off a hip replacement surgery. About to hit the grind where he's going every day. He's been working and doing different things, but working himself back into shape of coaching where he's a hands on the field coaching these players. So I think that's going to be one obstacle he's going to have to overcome, is getting back into game coaching shape after the hip replacement. But all evidence points to the fact that he's got a complete recovery and everything is going good. So I look for him to be able to do that. And he's getting older, but I haven't seen him slowing down one bit. So one thing I think came a plus from this hip surgery, he said he learned he didn't want to sit at home. He wants to be, he's a go-getter, he's a worker, he wants to be on the field. And so I think it gives him a drive to get out there physically. Second is, where is he mentally? We lost a big game at the end of the year, the national championship to Clemson. We got beat by a team that was better that night, that really beat us in all phases of the game. And so where is he mentally? How is he going to come back? Well, I've always said, and you've heard me say on this podcast before, that I believe Coach Saban coaches better after a loss than he does after a win. I think in times past we've seen some of his teams get complacent after victories. And so he has the opportunity to come in here and make a difference in this team mentally by setting the tone. I think he's done that. He started by in the offseason talking about getting back to the Alabama factor, getting back to the process. I believe that tone's been set during the fourth quarter program in the summer, the lifting of the weights. It looks like we got a good buy-in. So if he can translate that to the field, I think that's a challenge. Can you translate that message of getting back to the Alabama factor to the on-the-field coaching as he begins coaching the 2019 season this Friday with our opening of fall camp? When you open fall camp, one of the other challenges that you have is you got new players coming in. You got to get the culture of the team just right. You got to get the chemistry of the team just right. Can he get the offensive line chemistry there? It didn't seem like it was always there last year. Can he improve the chemistry on the offensive line? Can he translate the defense to take advantage of the good positions that we've got with great depth and kind of help the other positions that we don't have, like a middle linebacker we've talked about? Can he put the right people in the right positions and get them in a situation of new versus old? So I think that's a challenge that he has. And can he are there some new people? Can he discover in these first 2 or 3 practices new people that can get in and make a difference in the game, can be competitive and work? Can he identify those people that he's going to pour himself into? That's always a challenge. And I think the final challenge facing Coach Saban this year is to coach with this new coaching staff that he's put together. I think he's put together a really good coaching staff in the offseason, one that's got a good mix of young talent and more senior talent that's been around for a while. And I think we've needed that. I think he's got some coaches as I've said in past podcasts, that's here to stay for a while, some that are looking to move on, but he's got a good mix of both. And I think it remains to be seen, can he get his defensive philosophy and have it translated down throughout the defensive coaches? And can he get a happy medium working with Coach Sarkisian to translate his offensive philosophy down to all the offensive coaches? So we don't have some distractions. So I don't think he's going. That's one thing that he doesn't have a challenge like he had last year with the distractions that are in place with the Jalen versus Tua and deciding who's going to be your starting quarterback. I think the idea is already set in stone that Tua will be the starting quarterback. The challenge he's going to have with Tua is getting Tua, as he said many times, to take what the defense gives him. If he can get that translated down to him, and I think I think Coach Saban will have done a great job this year in his coaching. I look for him to be more motivated. I think after a loss he's going to be more motivated. I think he's definitely up for the challenge, and I look forward to seeing the team that he puts on the field in the first game against Duke. And everything that he does from Friday up until the game against Duke will set the stage for a successful season. So I'm excited that football's ready to be played. The balls are going to be in the air, that the teams are going to be strapping on the helmets and getting after it. So we've talked about it during the offseason, and here it is. So again, I encourage all the fans out there, if you're listening, come to Tuscaloosa on Saturday for Fan Day and see what kind of team we're going to have for the 2019 season.